I'm Katie from the Aloha Community Library, and today we are going to be making image transfer magnets. So from your take and make kit, you're going to need a piece of wood, your Mod Podge, your foam brush, then you'll also need a pair of scissors and whatever images you wanted to put on your magnet. An important thing to note about your image is that it's going to be flipped on the wood. So if you have a picture of an important landmark or a person, you might want to flip it before you print it so then it will flip back the correct way onto the piece of wood. Should we get started? Okay, so the first thing we want to do is figure out what size to cut our image so it will fit on the piece of wood the way we want it to. If you have a picture of, say, like a bird or an animal, you could also choose to cut around the outline of the image, so it's just the figure. Or if you don't mind the background being in the picture, which I don't for my purposes, I'm just going to cut it to the shape of the piece of wood, so you have options. So I'm going to put my piece of wood over my picture. I'm going to make sure I've got all of the important things there, and then I'm just going to trace it. And then I'm going to cut it out. Right, here we have our picture. Now I am working on an old beat up table, so I don't mind that much if I get glue or anything else on it, but if you are working on a nicer surface, you might want to put down a tablecloth or some sheets of newspaper, something to protect the surface. So what we are going to do now is we are going to glue our image onto our piece of wood. So to do that, we are going to get our Mod Podge and our brush, and we're going to apply a thin layer of the Mod Podge to the wood. And I'm going to take my picture and I'm going to press it firmly onto the wood. And I also want to make sure there are no air bubbles. So if you have something like a card, your library card even, for example, you could use that to press from, I would do it from the middle to the edges, just while it's adhering. I think that is a great idea. I'm just going to use my fingers. And then we are going to wait for it to dry, and we will be back with the next step. Alright, so it's been about 24 hours, everything's nice and dry, so it's time to start removing the paper. So the Mod Podge affixed the image and the paper to the wood, and we're going to use water and our fingers and some patience. We're going to start removing the paper. So we're going to take some water and our brush, and we are going to start by applying just a little bit of water on a small section of your paper, and just until you see the image start to come through. Then once it's wet, you're just going to take your finger, you start moving it in small circles around, and as you can see, the image will just, or the paper will just start peeling away. You don't want to work it too much or too hard, you just want to do a little bit at a time. You can really see that image start to come through, and then we will move on to the next section. Just keep going until we do one pass through the whole backside. Okay, we've done one pass through with the water and rubbing in slow circles around. As you can see, the image is starting to come through, but right now we're going to pause and we are going to let it dry. So we'll see you back in a little bit. Okay, so as you can see, after it dries, you can still see that there is some paper left on there. So I'm just going to keep applying water, gently rubbing the paper off, and then letting it dry. And I'll do that until I'm happy with the way the image looks. And then I'll be back with the final steps. Yeah, you only care about yourself. Okay, so it took me 4 passes to get it to this point. As you can see, there's just a little bit of white left, but that is just fine because the final layer of Mod Podge will make it look nice and clear. So that's the next step. Apply a nice thin layer like we did the first step. All right, we just need to wait for that to dry. Once it's dry, attach the magnet to the back and you are all done. I hope you had a great time making your image transfer magnet, and I look forward to seeing your creations. Please email a picture to us at info@aloalibrary.org. Thanks. Bye everyone.